360 Sports Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the 360 Sports Podcast Show with your hosts, Mario Mays and Adrian Pinlan. Please feel free to hit the subscribe button and share. Now, enjoy the show.
All right, welcome to the 360 Sports Podcast. We got two very special guests today here with us. We got Shaquan Cantrell. We got Ishmael Hollis. Two guys that came from the North Georgia area have done a great job, have made it to the professional ranks playing basketball. Also, we have Mr. Adrian Pinlan here on the line. Adrian has done a lot of work with both of these young men and kind of been a part of the success that they've had as they went off and played professional basketball. So we're going to jump right into it. Guys, feel free. Say what you want to say. We're just glad to have y'all here. And the first question I'm going to ask is, when did both of you guys get started playing the game of basketball?
You can go first, Quan.
I got started playing the game of basketball about 7. Here in Gainesville, where I'm from. Started off in the Boys and Girls Club ranks, and then after that worked my way up to the middle school level, and then I went to Gainesville, the city school system. So when I was at Gainesville, Coach Cottrell kind of had like a grassroots program from the middle school, and then build you up. Then once you get to the high school, and then he takes over from there.
Ish?
Yeah. First, I developed a love for it when I grew up in Atlanta Street when I was probably since I was born, so I was like maybe 5 or 6. So just being there, they used to have the court out there, before they tore down the whole neighborhood. So that's when initially I started. But then, I took some years off. I wasn't really a big basketball guy up until I got to high school. And once I got to high school, I kind of made a big jump and improvement once I went over to Flowery Branch High School, worked out with Coach Alfonso, and Todd Koch was my coach for 2 years. So they made a huge impact on my development, and I feel like that's kind of what carried me over into what I am today.
So it's real interesting, man. Both of you guys had the same head basketball coach for high school. Mm-hmm. Talk to us about Coach Cantrell, man. How did y'all feel about Coach Shaquan Cantrell?
My personal opinions about Coach Cottrell, I love him. He's a great guy. When I was in high school, he really taught us how to be men, like on and off the court, how to conduct yourself, how to be on time. And he just cared. Nowadays, I don't know, you guys coach, y'all are around coaches. I feel like nowadays a lot of coaches, they get what they can out of the players. And then when they go on, they just go on. But Coach Cottrell, he has maintained a relationship with me since I was 14 years old. So
that's big. That's big.
Yeah, for me, Coach Cottrell, I had him for 2 years before he went over to Gainesville. And just kind of like what Shaquan said, he taught us how to be men. He taught me personally how to be more accountable, just realizing that I'm not doing it for myself out there. When I first started playing basketball competitively, I just kind of thought about what it could do for me and not really understanding the team aspect. But Coach Cottrell, he brought like a family unity together, and we had our best team under Todd Cottrell. So we went to the Elite 8, which is, Flowery Branch has never been to that point again. So he brought a lot of that. Once he left, our relationship kind of, it kind of fell off because, I had a new head coach and everything like that. But, I actually saw his sons last summer. We played pickup basketball, but it's still the same, relationship as far as like the caring for one another and hoping that each other succeeds. So, I'm a big believer in what Todd is doing, and I wish him nothing but the best.
Yep. Hey, one thing, Todd is a great guy. I know he coached both of y'all guys, but Ishmael, I remember I saw both of y'all grow up and, be the great basketball players, the great men that y'all are right now. But I know Robert Alfonso played a big part of your success, man. He took you in, you lived with him, he trained you. He just took care of you, man. What do you got to say about Robert Alfonso?
Yeah, Robert Alfonso, again, he was really big in my development from an aspect of, he was kind of one of the first people to believe in me and my abilities. But the crazy thing about it is it was more so than being a basketball player. He just cared for my well-being at first, because when I was at Flowery Branch, I was a high school dropout. I was actually living in DeKalb County. I grew up really poor, but so his main concern was getting me back in school. He was like, look, I don't even care if you play basketball. We got to get you back in school. So he would commute every day in the mornings and pick me up all the way down, and whether I was in DeKalb or Gwinnett, he would come down there, pick me up, and take me to school every morning. And that happened for a while until him and his wife at the time, decided, hey, let's give this kid, a place to stay. So once they did that, that really helped my development more, because now I was in more of a stable environment. And it's funny, like he actually kind of started a relationship with me and Shaquan as well. Like he introduced me to Shaquan when Shaquan was in high school, and he told me, Shaquan could be a great player. He just needs, someone that's from where he's from to kind of, make things more relatable for him. So he introduced me to Shaquan, and I mean, since then, me and Shaquan has been, we've been close knit. We've been helping each other out on this path, in basketball. So, and in life as well. Me and Shaquan talk just about every day. So,
big salute, man, to Robert Alfonso. He's done a lot for the whole Georgia community. Man, he's worn so many hats as a fighter, as a mentor. He's my fraternity brother. We was online together, so he got to be one of the most solid dudes around this whole basketball business. So salute to Rob, and he has helped develop a very fine young man. Man, you've done a great job, and like you said, salute to Rob and everything he put into what you've done from the standpoint of basketball and becoming a young man, because I know that's a lot of what Rob believes in. Bigger than basketball. A lot bigger than basketball. And as far as saying that, we know Rob was a guy who influenced you. Shaquan, talk about some of the people that influenced you and kind of introduced you to the game of basketball. I knew Shaquan before Shaquan knew himself, because I played ball with his pops, who was an animal. He was probably one of the most athletic guys that I had a chance to lay some up with. And he was young. Like, I remember him as a sophomore, like, man, I'm on the floor now. Put me on the floor, coach. But, like, he never turned back from me. But talk about some of the people who influenced you, Shaquan.
Like you mentioned, my dad, he's the reason I started playing basketball. He's the reason why I wore number 23 throughout high school and college. I hear the stories all the time. He won't let me live them down every chance he gets. He try to bring them up and tell me he'll still do it to me to this day. But
he will too.
He washed now. But other than him, definitely Coach Cantrell. My family, my grandmother, my mother, my uncle. I have a good support system. And then Ishmael. Ishmael helped me with my whole process. Him and Robert Alfonso about going to college, and Ishmael has helped me since I was probably like a junior in college. Even to this day, he still helps in any way he can. AP for sure. AP, I've been knowing AP since I probably been in middle school or early high school. I remember he used to come to the gym when I was in high school, and we used to play one-on-one. And
hey, tell him how it used to end up.
Yeah, AP was tough.
Just playing, man.
And Jamil Hester for sure.
I know you used to smoke Jamil. I know you was smoking.
Mario, we used to put it on them boys.
Oh man.
Yeah,
that was a good group too.
Yeah, those are some key people that made big impacts in my life and my basketball career. Definitely.
Hey, let's talk about. I know we're not jumped into high school now. Let's talk about college. Shaquan, what made you decide to go to North Georgia? And Ish, I'm going to ask you the same thing, because I know you started off at Western Carolina. Then you went to North Georgia. But Shaquan, I just want to talk to you, because I saw your senior year in high school, and I know Mario saw it. Y'all got beat by Miller Grove in the state championship game, but y'all was beating them out the whole game. in that last game, like Shaquan, you were just a man amongst boys, man. And I just felt like, you know, I thought that you could go to a mid-major, but you went to a school where you felt like you could, you know, jump in and play right away. What ultimately made you go to North Georgia?
During my whole recruiting process, I never played travel ball. I never played AAU ball. For me, it was just getting in the gym over the summer and just working my tail off. I started getting interest after summer camps my senior year. I had a hell of a summer. Then that's when I met Ishmael, and we started to get close, and Alfonso, and Coach Faulkner had came down for a workout. I remember he came down for a workout, and after the workout, he told me that he didn't even need to see me work out because he already knew what I was capable of. And just talking to Ishmael and Coach Cottrell and Alfonso, they convinced me that going to a school where I'm wanted instead of a school that has options, it could make a big difference in my career.
So I want to ask you this question because you took a very untraditional route by not playing AAU. What influenced that decision?
I've always kind of been more of a to myself kind of guy. So I think that kind of played a big part in it. And I just was really focused on getting better. I know AAU ball can expose you to a lot of things, a lot of different competition, a lot of different players, colleges and stuff. But at the time, I was just focused on just trying to be the best ball player I could be. And what really drove me was just get in the gym and work so my parents and my family wouldn't have to go into debt with student loans so I could go get a free education and things like that.
Okay. Now, you had a different experience because you took advantage of the circuit. Did you play with Game Elite, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
Okay.
it was Worldwide Renegades. Yeah.
Okay, talk about that experience.
Oh, it was awesome, man. Like playing for Worldwide, and the year before I played with Atlanta Express, so I was able to be mentored under Winford Jordan with with Atlanta Express, and then once I got over there with Game Elite with Coach Ryan and Coach Peaches, they definitely showed me a different side of basketball, and they definitely helped me out a lot. And it's crazy. I had a lot more offers than Western Carolina, and but I just chose to go with my gut feeling on that. And one of them was the fact that Coach Cottrell from high school, he went to Western Carolina, but he went there to go play football. And his dad actually is the all-time winningest coach there, percentage-wise at least, Coach Cottrell is. So I thought that because he coached me and I thought that, like, it been close to home, I just felt like that was the school for me to go to. But as far as with Game Elite, they put me in Pango's All-American out in Long Beach, California. I was in that. I also was in the Reebok All-American camp up in Philadelphia. So they put me and exposed me to some great events. We actually won the national championship out in Vegas. We were Reebok at the time, so we had to play in the Reebok tournament. Okay. So it wasn't as strong as the Adidas one, but we knocked off teams with like Quincy Miller, which he was a really big guy in AAU at that time. So it was a fun experience, and it's cool because a lot of AAU teams, they make guys pay and stuff. But, with Game Elite, I didn't have to pay a dime, the whole time. All I had to do is just, I'll bring money to go eat or whatever. But they paid pretty much everything, and it was an awesome experience for a kid like me coming from Gainesville. I never traveled so much until I started, being with them. And then that whole summer, I was just gone on the road.
I think it's to tell the two different experiences, the one Shaquan had and then the one that Ish had. And, hopefully parents and young kids that get an opportunity to see this realize it can be done on both sides of the fence. Also guys who take that traditional route, like Ish took, and he was still able to get it done. So that's an interesting take, man. Two completely different looks at, the summer circuit and finding ways to be able to become scholarship athletes. Very interesting. Very interesting.
And Shaquan, so you had 4 amazing years at North Georgia College. You're the all-time scorer. I remember one year, maybe after your sophomore year, I'll never forget. You called me because you was ready to transfer, Because Coach Morgan, Andre, got assistant coaching job at some school in Kentucky, right?
Kentucky Wesleyan.
Division two school.
Division II school. And I never forget, man, you had a long conversation and you was like, man, I just need to be pushed. I need to be challenged. And, I don't want to get into what we talked about, but man, then you decided to go back to North Georgia. And I mean, now look, you're the all-time leading scorer. Like, that's big. Like, I don't care if it's at a NAIA D2 or when you're an all-time leading scorer at a university, that says a lot, man. That means you put in a lot of work, man.
Big facts.
How do you feel about that, man? And like, what, like, as you looking back, what do you think about it now?
Looking back on it, it's definitely an amazing accomplishment. Looking back at my college career, I wish we would have won more. That's definitely a big thing because that could definitely open more opportunities for not only myself but guys that come behind me that have like pro aspirations and things like that. But it was a fun experience. I wouldn't go back and redo it for nothing. I'm just blessed and thankful that I was able to accomplish something like that.
And Ish, my bad, Mario. Ish, I know you the third highest scorer in North Georgia history, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You only played 2 seasons there, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Man, like what kind of numbers was you putting up?
I was averaging 20 a game, like 20 points a game, like 9 to 10 rebounds a game. I believe I got the rebound record too for the season, for a regular, like an individual season. So my whole goal was, after I left Division I, I mean, you guys know this better than anyone. There's always been a trend that, guys from games where they might go to a D1 and then they'll come back home to a D2 and that'd be pretty much the end of their career. Mm-hmm. So I knew that if I was going to go to North Georgia, I got to give it everything that I had because I wanted to keep on going. I wanted to, make history, so to speak. So, what I did at North Georgia for those 2 years, when I look back at it, at the time I didn't think I was doing much. When I look back at it, I had a successful career. I finished as an All-American there, played in the D2 All-American game. So, I'm kind of proud of how that went, and I'm real thankful for North Georgia for letting me go there and play my game, so that way I could be playing pro ball right now.
I tell you what, I remember kind of a little of the situation when Shaquan was getting ready to transfer because I remember speaking to his dad about it. And I want to say, didn't Coach Morgan get a job in another spot?
UNC Greensboro, yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So in the middle of that transaction, I guess, Shaquan decided to stay. But I'm going to say this because I think that a lot of people decide to try to go to a higher level. And a lot of times you got to find what fits. And I think both of you guys did a great job of actually finding what really fits and really taking advantage of it. So many kids get sold on a name and a level. And at the end of the day, you got to make the best of whatever opportunity you get, whether you go to the top level, whether you go to the mid level, or whether you end up in a NAIA school. And I think you guys are the perfect example of taking advantage of every opportunity that, you guys had. And then, like I said, to end up number 1 and number 3 for scoring, like guys got to really, really take advantage and pay attention to, some of the things that you guys done and some of the decisions that you made to put you in those situations. So like I said, man, salute to both of you guys for staying the course. And the other good thing, and Shaquan said it earlier, and I know it's both of you guys' situation. Both of y'all had to have a real good support system around you guys to end up the way that you guys ended up. Not just number 1 and number 3 in scoring, but just in a situation to where you were able to put yourself in a spot where you were able to continue your career after college. Because if you go to a huge situation, you might not get the opportunity because your numbers might not reflect something that people say that this kid deserves an opportunity to play overseas and in a situation like that. But like I said, salute to y'all for what you done with that, man.
Definitely, I appreciate it. And then also, like when me and Shaquan, like I feel, because I know there's been other players that came through there, a lot of good players, but I feel like Shaquan and I are like trailblazers for the university, meaning that we're creating a path for, you know, people who do want to go to North Georgia and see that there's a way out. There's an opportunity to play pro basketball for you. Just look at what Shaquan and I did. You know, hopefully at the end of our career, we can say that. You know, we can say that we created, you know, a system where people can go to North Georgia if they wanted to and still be able to be successful at basketball, you know. So
I got another question. Y'all didn't get a chance to play in the new facility, did you?
I think Shaquan did.
I played the very first game in there.
You know?
What do you think about the new facility, man?
Oh, I think it's amazing. It's nice. It's big. I think it can definitely draw in talented players.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sure.
it can only help the school and the university and things like that.
Definitely. I would say it's probably, you know, one of the best Division II facilities in the whole Southeast, man. I would like to see any other facility that could rival it, but it's first class. It's definitely first class.
Yeah. There was one school I visited when I was transferring from Western. I actually committed there before I committed to North Georgia. I pretty much told them that it was Nova Southeastern, and they and they have an alumni booth in there and everything. That one was probably better than North Georgia's new facility, but there's not. And then, you know, you got Columbia State that has a nice facility. You know, USC Aiken got a nice one. Yeah. But as far as how new it is and, you know, how nice it is, I could definitely see North Georgia being top tier Division II program with facilities.
Hey, let's talk about y'all overseas experience so far. I know, Shaquan, your first year you played in Germany, and I know all about Germany. How was your first year in Germany? Because you talked before you even signed the contract, and even when you went over there and came back home, you know, I gave you a couple of pointers about Germany, but your overall experience in Germany, basketball, just living wise, you know, just all of that. How was it?
It was interesting. I think once you get overseas and you really see the lifestyle, how it is, you really see it's a grind. But I mean, you're over there to do a job. You're over there doing what you love, so that keeps you pushing through. But my first experience, I enjoyed it. I was overseas. It was my first time out of the country, so it was definitely new. But I think I adapted pretty well, and I went over there and I handled my business. So I don't really have no complaints about it.
When you got off the plane, because you probably went to Frankfurt or some airport, when you got off the plane, what was your like, man, I made it? Like, how did you feel when you first walked off that plane, man?
I was just glad to be able to get off that plane after sitting on there for about 9-10 hours.
So you're not a guy that likes to fly?
Flying doesn't bother me. I actually enjoy it. Just those long flights and the time change and everything else that goes into it that I don't really care for. But the whole experience is definitely neat, just walking through the airport in another country. And I mean, you're already foreign, especially in Germany, predominantly white country. So they know you're over there to do two things, either work or play ball. So it's definitely an amazing experience.
So how did the people treat you?
They love Americans. So whenever you go somewhere, they just, you stand out. You're the American. So I didn't really have any issues when I was over there with any people over there. It was mainly our love, to be honest.
Shaquan, this is something that I always talk about with kids. You know, you talked about it. Most people feel like when you go overseas, you get a contract, you're going to get all your money. And sometimes that's not the case. And he can verify this. Like, did you have any money problems with the team or any problems with the club? Like, they guarantee you a car or internet. And did you receive everything they offered?
My first experience, yeah. My second experience, it wasn't the best experience. Like you say, the money issue, and my second experience, I didn't have a car. We had the bike everywhere. So like my second experience, that really wasn't a good one. But my first one, I definitely I definitely hold that one up there.
And I think it's important that both of you guys talk about the good and the bad, and be able to enlighten some of these young guys that are looking to do some of the same things that you guys have done. We know you've been kind of a world traveler, with this experience to go and play overseas. So talk about some of the challenges that you faced, when you struck out and went out to go across seas to play.
I would say overseas, some of the challenges are adjusting maybe to a different culture, different lifestyle, also adjusting to a coach's strategy because, I play pretty much almost on every continent. So there's different strategies. They believe in a different type of system, and in order for you to adjust, you got to be able to adapt to what they want you to do. So for me, adapting was very key in my success. AP brought it up too. Sometimes with the money, like it was funny. One year I was playing, and the team was like, "Hey, we're only a week early. Like you should be happy. We're a week late. You should be happy that I'm a week late. Only a week late." And you'd be like, "What? Like I want my money on time. What are you talking about?" So there's normal instances where, a guy might get paid 30 days late. There's been teams that I've been on. I've been on good teams that made it to the championship. And you still there's a team that still owes me money, So it is very possible for you to run into a situation, whether the club is good or they're bad. It's possible to run into a situation where you don't get all your money on time and stuff like that. But for the most part, I could say, especially from where I came from in Gainesville to where I'm at now, it's really all been a blessing. I take the good with the bad, and there's been more positives than negatives for me overseas. So I just kind of look at it like that. And thankfully I'm still playing because, I've heard a lot of horror stories. A lot of guys go over there for 1 year and then they quit playing basketball after that because, it just wasn't a great fit for them. They didn't get paid. I know guys that didn't get paid for their whole time they was with a team, 8 months, So there's situations like that. And thankfully I never ran into that. And so it's been overall, I would say it's been a great experience.
I do want to talk about this. With this pandemic that we in, and both of y'all know this, even Mario, the contracts and the game of basketball overseas may be different this year. Like right now, Americans, we can't even go to Europe right now. So have both of y'all been talking to y'all agents, just in case if a team want to sign y'all in the next couple of weeks or next month or so? How is that going to work out when Americans can't travel, to Europe right now? And then on the money side, I know contracts going to be cut because team sponsors is really not too many sponsors out there this season. So how's the overseas looking for both of y'all?
Well, for me personally, I got a few offers already. It's funny, today I was talking to Shaquan about it earlier, but today I just got an offer from Lithuania, but the money ain't where it's supposed to be. So I told my agent, I was like, we're going to keep waiting. So, and as far as the travel, I don't think the travel is an issue for them because, if they really want a player to come in, they could fly you to a certain country and then they could fly you in from that other country, So if, let's say, from a flight from Atlanta to France, let's say France said, hey, we don't want no U.S. citizens to travel to, through our country. Cool. Well, you can get a flight from U.S. to Israel and then Israel to Germany, something like that. There's ways for you to, fly. So I don't think that's going to be an issue this year as far as Americans being able to go play over there. And I know in Greece, they're actually going to allow 6 imports this year instead of the regular 5. So, that'd be more opportunity for Americans to go play over there as well. So maybe I'll look for Greece this year. It just really all depends on the numbers. But, Lithuania is a great league. That AP. They ain't come up with a big enough bag, Maybe early in my career, I'd have been like, hey, let's go ahead and get the contract and sign it. But I just, with everything I got going now, I just said, hey, I'll just keep waiting.
Shaquan, what about you?
Right now, I'm really just waiting, just staying in shape, staying ready, staying in the gym. Like you say, COVID has really messed a lot of things up. in my situation, we're really just waiting to see when leagues and everything are going to start back. So for me, it's just been just keep my head down and just keep working every day.
So I got another big question for both of you guys, because I think that both of you guys did something special by graduating from UNG. It's a great academic institution. And my other question is, let's fast forward maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years. What do you guys look to do when the basketball is over and the ball stops bouncing?
Shoot, for me personally, I want to be able to kind of give back, like in coaching, like it was done for me. You know, I'm actually I already talked to Flowery Branch, so I'm gonna be there as a community coach until I leave and go play overseas. So I just kind of want to build my experience coaching, and once I'm done playing, maybe get into coaching one day, and just be able to get again, like I said, just get back to the kids. Like, you know, it was done for me, because I know without, you know, certain mentors in my life and certain people who guided me along the way, I know like none of this would be possible. So it'd be wrong for me to just kind of ignore that and not kind of follow my passion with helping others out as well. So I really love helping others out. That's like kind of my thing. Like anybody that needs some help, you know, I'll do my best. Shaquan and I joked about it the other day. Like there was a guy on Instagram, his name Drewski. He said friends that always try to take credit for everything, you know. And I just joke with Shaquan a lot about like, hey man, you know, like I might say something like, yeah, you know, that was me that got you to North Georgia or something like that. And so he'd be like, damn man, you take credit for everything. So, but that's just kind of a fun way for me to just kind of joke about stuff. But like, I really do like helping people out. So anything for me, just helping somebody out, like that's what I want to do. So I think coaching probably the best way for me to go.
Yeah, like it said, for me, when my playing career is done, I would really like to get into coaching. I've had previous discussions with Coach Cottrell. Wherever he's at the time, he's always told me since I graduated from high school, he wants to be the first to offer me a coaching job if I want to get into coaching. So I would really like to do that. I kind of like what you and AP do. I kind of want to like start my own little thing. Kind of start my own little training thing and maybe develop a couple AAU teams and things like that. But pretty much for me, it's like it said, it's just giving back. I want to do that to give back. I want to find a kid like me that's like you're athletic, but you just don't know what to do with it. You don't know where to go. You want to be good. You just don't know what to do. And just gives a kid like what I didn't have at that age. So.
Well, I'm gonna take y'all back a little bit, because this is a question we should have asked in the early part of the interview. But in two different areas, in high school and college, we'll start with high school. Who was that guy that you couldn't wait to play against, or that team in high school? When the season started, you marked on your schedule like, man, I can't wait till I see maybe East Hall or West Hall. I'm trying to give them 40. You know, what was that team or that player for you, Shaquan?
I mean, you went to games with Mario, so you know every time the schedule come out, that East Hall Gainesville game is always the game you get up for. Lanierland, definitely Lanierland. Player wise, I used to love to go against J.C. Hampton. He was kind of.
He was tough.
Yeah, he was same year as me. He was a year older than me, but JC was an animal.
Okay.
I used to love going against JC.
Okay. All right. Ish, what about you?
Shoot. When I really started watching basketball, I was too young to play against him, but I always wanted to play against Walter Hill, because I just felt like that was a good matchup comparison. You know, Walt was obviously a monster, especially in high school. You know, he's one of the most decorated players to ever come to East Hall. So that was kind of, for me, I always want to go against him. And then for the actual games, of course, I always wanted to play against Gainesville. Me being from Gainesville, my sister played at Gainesville. You know, all my cousins played at Gainesville. Like, you know, like even way back, you know, you talk about way back, Charles Earls, you know, on those teams that won the state championships. So for me, I always wanted to play against Gainesville. I always wanted to put up big numbers on Gainesville. So I had some games where I had really big numbers. And then there's some games where they shut me down too. You know, like when they had AJ Johnson. I mean, the guy was a monster, could move his feet. He was very strong. You know, so Todd Cottrell would make some great game plans for us. Like I remember one time, my senior year, we played him. I had 38 and 20, right? And then the next time I played him, I had like 19. So like they like Cottrell knew how to game plan against me. So going against games was always fun because I knew that like if we had any chance of even coming close, I had to play my best game. So
You talking about a real legend when you talking about Charles Earls. What you know about Charles Earls, man?
Yeah, man, I know a lot about Charles, man. And I actually took Quan down to they call it ISA now, International Sports Academy. But I told him, it used to be called Center Court. Yeah. And down in the cab, man, Shaquan just met Drew Garlock this year for the first time. And, talking over with him, and we just kind of talked about how, Charles helped Drew game a lot. He used to go there every morning when he lived over in Stone Mountain, and he helped his game a lot. So, and, my mom, she always talked about Charles, how he used to be able to just, he was just amazing basketball player. He used to glide through the air. He used to do all these things. Like, she used to tell me all these things about Charles, and I just didn't believe it. And then when I look back to my history, I'm like, man, they did win 3 straight state championships. And they were pretty much, and it wasn't just him, though. It was a lot of other guys on that team. And Chris Carpenter was actually a coach at Flowery Branch when I was there, and he played on those teams as well. Right. But, I mean, it was just Gainesville had so much talent. That's what made me realize, like we have a history of talent here in Gainesville. It might not get talked about a lot, but, like, even with Shaquan, father, like, they talk about how much talent he had. I remember all the runs they used to do at Butler before they shut that down over there. Well, we got guys that come through. I wanted to be able to stick. I want some, and AP did a great job of going overseas and playing for a good amount of years. So that also gives me inspiration as well. But I think my big goal for that is to make it to the NBA because, no one's done it yet from Hall County, Gainesville. So and I tell Shaquan that too. I was the first one to make it to the G League, but, I'm not satisfied with that. I feel like the NBA the way to go. So every time Shaquan and I train, we aiming for that league.
Yeah, Charles. Speaking of Charles Earls, man, the first person I ever seen do a 360 in a game was Charles.
That's
Earls.
Crazy.
Yeah,
they told me about it, man. In that Gainesville old gym, they told me, man, it used to be standing room only, man. Talking about nobody was beating those boys.
Them guys had a run. I think they were like. They lost 1 game in 2 years. I think they probably was one of the first teams to be ranked in the country. Like they had a crazy team, man. It was unreal. That's kind of what made me say, man, I want to play for games. I want to win and do the same thing those guys had the opportunity to do. But like you said, it's a lot of talent that came through Gainesville. Shaquan had 2 uncles. He trying to be modest over there. He had an uncle Chris. Chris wasn't no slouch. He was tough. And then Uncle Stevie,
shoot it.
Stevie could shoot it from the half court line, and I mean he was probably one of the most fundamental dudes I ever seen up under the basket. But and then like with Deshaun, like he was just different. When it came to being an athlete, like he could do stuff at an early age. Like we was like, God, man. And he started playing late. But when he picked up the basketball, he was a special guy, man. But, like you guys said, it's been a lot of great talent come through. And hopefully, I'm going to say this. There's a guy that I think is going to get the opportunity to get to the NBA. I think KJ Buffin, he's really got a chance. When you start talking about prospects within the next year to 2 years, he's got everything that they're looking for. So hopefully he'll stay healthy, man, and be able to get there, man. And like you said, be the first guy because it don't even seem like it makes sense that nobody has made it.
It made no sense. I'm like, how? But somebody got to do it, man. So if it is KJ, salute to KJ, man, because I've been watching him over at Ole Miss. And he's doing his thing. And, I mean, he's pretty much going into this year as the best player offensively and defensively. Because that's one thing he does that I think will help him get to the league. He plays defense, Not a lot of guys sit there and play multiple positions. He could probably guard 1 through 4. So,
and that's a big box that they gonna check. Can you guard multiple positions? So
for sure.
I do have one more question to ask, and I don't care which one of y'all answer. If y'all two play 1-on-1 right now, who would win?
Well, I already won, so we played last Friday. I already won.
Man, where your daddy at, man?
Look,
I already won.
He had to cry about a foul so he could get the ball back.
Shaquan know what time it is. But it was funny because it was actually 3 of us playing. Shaquan and I worked out with one of the Charlotte Hornets skill development coaches, James May. And we actually did a couple one-on-ones. We did one from the elbow, and then we did one full court one-on-one, which Coach May won that one. But Coach May definitely cheated his way in that one too. But I ended up getting the first one. But I can tell you one thing though, man. Shaquan has increased his game tremendously, man. Like I honestly thought he wasn't working. When I got back home, I was like, man, you sure you been in the gym, man? You sure you been working? And he was like, yeah, man, I don't know. I didn't see it. And then once we got back in the gym last month, like, I could see it. He's been working. Like, Shaquan has improved in the areas that he needed to improve on. So, a big salute to Shaquan, too, man. We're going to be back in the gym again tomorrow and Friday as well. So, but big salute to him. He been working.
We might need to get that live stream on that one-on-one, man, and go live and let the world see that one-on-one. That'll be something to see right there.
Hey, Quan, know when them cameras get on me, man, I'm different. I ball out there.
Hey, I'm going to say this to both of y'all right now. Me and Mario beat both of y'all in 2-on-2 right now, boy.
Don't let this fool you right here now. Don't let this fool you now.
Hey, Shaquan definitely don't want to see me.
AP, you can't beat me no more. I'm not 16 no more, AP.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. That'd be a fun game, man. But if Shaquan and I turned up 100%, at this moment in time, I just couldn't see y'all beating us.
Okay.
All right, man. We didn't.
I couldn't see it, man. I mean, the way we've been training, I just couldn't. I couldn't even imagine.
Hey, and that's gonna be the sad part. Y'all doing all this training, we're gonna come in there and beat y'all.
I don't know, man. We definitely have to run it though.
They used to tell me this, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. So
you feel me?
Y'all
got to get ready. Y'all got to get ready. We already ready.
Man. We stay ready with him, man.
Oh, so I want to ask y'all a question now, since y'all asking us questions. This has been a big wonder, I guess, so to speak, of mine. So, do y'all really feel like the generation, like y'all generation and the generation before y'all, like let's say Charles Earl's class, do y'all feel like those guys are better than the guys that's coming out now, or the guys that's coming out when Shaquan and I came out of high school? How do y'all feel about that?
I'm going to let Mario go first on this.
I'm going to say this, man. It's never fair to ever compare because, you know, when times change, things change. When we came up, we didn't have guys training us. Cluster used to just take us to the gym and say, y'all ain't leaving till y'all get tired. And we would play all day long. Like what you spoke about, like we would go start at the boys club. We might walk up the hill and go to the park, play some more. We might walk out to games for high school and play at the high school because we might have summer practice. So we might play in 3 spots in one day, and then we might end up out Butler playing. Or you might end at West Summit out there playing, you know. But we had so many different places to play. I think that kind of stepped in the way, and the training thing wasn't even a thing for us. You know, like the closest thing to a trainer we had was Cluster, you know, and he definitely showed us a lot of stuff, but it was more about competition and competing in our time. And based on the internet and social media, like with us, if you gave somebody 20 or 30, you weren't getting on no social media, you know. It was just it is what it is. You gave a 30 piece out. All right, the next time I see you, I'm coming for your head. Like that's just how we kind of did it. So I don't think it's necessarily fair to compare what generation did what. I just think the most important thing for us was to be able to move it forward, pay it forward. Like what those guys did for us, you know, were what we were supposed to do for you guys. And that's why I think one of the biggest things me and Adrian tried to work on doing was, and like Adrian younger than me, but my goal was to be able to try to give him and the group that came with him, give them everything cluster, and that group kind of showed us coming up. And then as time moved on for us, one thing me and Adrian talked about was just being able to create a platform to highlight everything that was going on in North Georgia. So that's where the All-Star game came about. And Rob was actually a guy who was right on the ground floor with us at the beginning of that situation. Like, man, we got to do something for the kids here. That was the biggest thing that didn't happen in my era and even before. Like, you didn't really hear a lot about what was happening up our way in the metro area. So that was our goal, provide an opportunity for people in the metro to hear that, hey, man, there's some good basketball in North Georgia. And I don't even know if they answered the question, but that just kind of, you know, my
It's just different eras, different times, you know.
Yep. And I will give you the same answer that Mario gave you, but I will say this. So, like, looking back, like, now the game has changed so much because, like Mario said, when I was coming up, our parents was not paying for no trainers. Like, if I would have told my mom, hey, you know, Cluster going to train me, or Mario going to train me, or Tim Gator going to train me, you got to pay them X amount of dollars, she would have been like, boy, stop. You know what I'm saying? You got to go outside and figure it out yourself.
And we didn't have it.
Yeah, and we didn't have it. Yeah, our parents couldn't pay that. But now, you know, you got trainers, you got guys in the weight room, now they're eating right, they got, you know, the hyperbaric chamber, they got the plyometrics, whatever. So now guys are faster, quicker, stronger, and more gyms. Like the gym that I played in had carpet, the Old South Hall Community Center, no AC. Now y'all got gyms.
I remember that though.
Yeah.
I remember
that. Now we got gyms with AC and all this stuff. So I feel like players are getting better. Like we had good players back in our days, but now like you got guys they're really good. And I think that guys like Mario and guys before Mario, like they paid that way for, you know, the next generation. And now y'all doing it for the next generation. So that would be my answer. I do feel like players better, but I feel like in our age and in our days and Mario days and Dr. J, them guys was just as good. They just didn't have the tools like the trainers or the weight room.
Hold on, AP. You said Dr. J, man. You trying to make me like I'm 60 years old, dude.
I'm just saying Dr. J way before us.
Yeah. But the truth is, like he said, the resources that this generation has, we didn't have.
Yep.
You know, we just had a ball in a basket. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, there's so many different levels to building a player now that we didn't even – that wasn't an option. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had the weight room, you know, but weight specific, like it's specific weight, you know, exercises and workouts just built totally around basketball. You know what I mean? Back in the days, if you had weight training in high school, it wasn't basketball specific or football specific. It was just a one-way go, you know. And so now, like Adrian said, I think you guys are a whole lot ahead of what we were, you know what I'm saying, skill-wise, because you got people that's tuned in to tuning up those basic fundamentals, you know what I mean, where I think the one advantage we had was that we were more competitive. You know what I'm saying? Now, I won't say that with y'all's group, but I think the kids now, like my kids, they're not competitive as we were because those opportunities for them to compete, they're not there anymore. Like we could get a game at the boys club at any time. The boys and girls club now, you can't go up there and, you know.
Play anytime, yeah.
Right. So
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when Ish asked the question. I think really after my class, I kind of feel like kids don't really, like you say, compete anymore. You just can't go to Mulberry or East Hall and get 10 to 12 hoopers that you know just hoop and get 2-3 hours of competitive runs in. That doesn't really happen nowadays like it used to when I was coming up and like when Ish was coming up and things like that. So I don't know. It's a social media era nowadays.
Yes.
So
everybody want that clout. So, but hey, shoot, man, duty calls, man. I really appreciate y'all bringing me on. Got to head out. But thanks for having me on, man. We should do this some more, man. And salute to you guys, AP, Mario, for doing what y'all do, DJ Q. Salute to y'all, man. I think more people in the community need to see things like this. And shoot, I'm behind y'all 100%.
Man, we appreciate y'all being able to spend some time with us, man, and we wish you guys luck. Y'all have done a great job representing the area, and man, keep it up. Anything we can do to help push you guys' platform, let us know. We with y'all 100%, and like I said, we're proud of y'all, man. Y'all represent our area well.
Yes, man. Very proud.
Salute. We appreciate that.
Yeah,
yes, sir. Salute, man. We appreciate everything y'all do for us, man. Appreciate all the guidance too along the way, man. I don't think y'all realize, like, we see everything y'all do just like y'all see everything we do. So again, we appreciate all the lessons along the way. Shoot, Mario, I remember when you was down there at Wheeler and stuff with Doug.
Yeah.
Doug Lipscomb too, which is another family member of mine. So I saw what you did down there with those boys as well. So I just always wanted something like that for kids up here, and now you're doing that for the community up here as well. So again, salute, and let's keep it going. Let's keep the ball rolling, man.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely. All right, y'all take care, man.
All right, have a good one.
All
right. Take care, guys.
Yep.